Begin this? Okay, so Tyler, you get to begin this one.
At a town hall last April with the We the People group, Kevin Brady was asked by you if we could put a lawsuit into place that would stop the spending because the budget was out of control, as you mentioned to him. Most people that understand the federal government understand that the federal government can't be sued because they're sovereign, and they have an ability justified to them by the Supreme Court and by the Constitution that they are immune from being sued. So with a lack of understanding such as that, how is it possible that you can tell me that you grasp how our government works?
I said surely we could file a suit to stop them, tie them up in some legal litigation. They do it to us all the time. It does not necessarily mean sue the federal government. It does mean sue members of Congress, tie them up in litigation. There's nothing, that strategy, we should be doing that effectively as conservatives to tie up some of these liberal groups that are going after us over and over and over again. There is nothing wrong with doing that. When our government is acting unconstitutional, that should be a tactic that we could employ. This massive debt, even though the federal government does have the ability to levy taxes, especially in times of war. One of the things John Adams did, to get to the Revolutionary War, we borrowed a ton of money, especially from the Dutch. And as soon as the war was over, he immediately began the effort to pay it all back. And George Washington stood right behind him and said the same thing. John Adams was the vice president and he was our second president. Both of them made great efforts to pay the debt back because they knew, and they wrote over and over again, how it would crush the oncoming generations. They said, we cannot leave this debt for our posterity. That is us. We cannot do that to our children, and we should certainly be using every tool in our power to stop the government when they are doing wrong things, when they are trying to shut us down.
So if we get this lawsuit to Congress, who is it really going to impact? Is it going to stop the Congress from passing that everyday legislation, or is it just going to cost the taxpayers more money to fight the legislation that we proposed against the federal government to begin with? What we really need is to make sure that when a budget process is underway, and I know you'll agree with this for sure, that we call our congressmen and make sure that that doesn't get passed. If that doesn't happen, we call our senators, we go to our president. If none of that happens, we elect new people. I don't think throwing frivolous lawsuits around is really going to do us a whole lot of good. It's just going to get a whole bunch of attorneys a whole lot of taxpayer money, and I'm not for that.
I don't think...
Okay, Scott, you have a question. Time to ask a question.
Okay.
Any question you want.
I'm going to use it to rebut you because I don't think stopping the government is a frivolous lawsuit if they're doing something that is unconstitutional and inappropriate. How many millions of dollars would it have really cost us to stop $700 billion, $787 billion in stimulus money? I mean, $20 million, is that too much to ask to stop $787 billion that is wasted, that has gone to unions, that has gone in pork barrel spending? They've only spent $100 million of it. They're waiting to spend the rest of it until it's election time so they can put their cronies and thugs back into office.
I agree. The bill did, in fact, try to put cronies and thugs back into place, and and it's yet to be determined how many more of them will be back in place later. The thing is that the best way to stop Congress is to use Congress to stop things. If we don't have the right leaders there, it's not going to happen. You talk about $20 million there. If we just stopped in the Congress, that's free. It's free to stop it while it's in the House. It's free to stop it while it's in the Senate. It's free to stop it with the President of the United States. I agree. Right now, we have a president that doesn't care about federal spending. And the best way for us to stop anything right now is still to call our Congress and make sure things are going, that things are going to go our way. We're going to call the representatives and really shake them up. We got to get the people awake, and we have to make sure that they're calling everybody and that people know they won't be reelected if they vote for certain bills. If we're not doing that, then that's going to continue regardless of how many lawsuits get passed. People are going to continue to be elected not based on their merit, but based on what they were able to pass for their liberal slash funded interest.
I'm not talking about some pie-in-the-sky future idea. This is the $787 billion stimulus that passed, that you and I and everybody here called and tried to stop. And it did not work. Yes, we need to call. We need to be involved. We need to educate our youth and our citizens and let them know what's going on. But when that fails, where else do we turn? Do we sit on our hands and say, well, I guess I'll pick up the phone next time a piece of legislation comes through? Or do we go on the offensive? Do we frame the debate? And do we attack them and get them out of office? I think that's what we're doing now. Congress, we petitioned Congress very thoroughly, and they still didn't listen. Kevin Brady didn't vote on it, but he was totally ineffective at stopping the entire left wing of the Democratic Party from pushing it through. It is a tactic. It is not the whole strategy.